So, remember you guys, when you do all of your worrying before you study, and that will motivate you to study more. Then don't worry while you're studying, study. Learn it. Work until you're so tired you can't worry anymore. That works really good. Okay? And then relax. When's the test?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So when you come in Wednesday, when you come out over here, remember to just relax. Right? Big deal. It's just a test. Right? Okay? Same with the fun. Right? Use the pressure to get you to study. And then forget it. Just perform. Right? Whatever happens, happens. It works. Life goes on. Right? Life goes on. So anyway, don't over stress over this stuff. No reason. And what can happen is you get so busy with all your classes and all your tests and all your papers, and stress can do you in, right? So don't let it. Don't let it. Okay? Don't quit any of your classes. Don't quit. Ever do that. Quit for. Okay? Just keep going. Anyway, so let's do this first. We're doing quiz 10 and 11, number 1, okay? Which is the bond problem. Fox Corporation issues $8 million face value, 7% 5-year bonds. So right on the face of the bond, on the piece of the paper, what do we have, everybody? Looks to me like it's an $8 million bond. We have the company name on there too. That means it's going to pay off at $8 million at the end, right, everybody? Regardless of what we pay for this, if we invest in it, and regardless of what we issue it for, right? It's an $8 million bond. Everybody agree with that? That's the deal. Okay? So that's what's going to pay off. And then it's 7%. So that means it's going to pay 7% of $8 million. How much is that? What's 7 times 8? You guys are scared. I was talking to a little 9-year-old boy at a microbrewery yesterday. Really. He's 9 and he's a kid, the guy that makes the beer. And he comes up, it's down in Jefferson, in an old church. Anyway, third something?
Third turn.
Third what?
Third turn brewery.
Third turn. Yeah, they make some decent beer.
My family owns this shit.
Your family owns it? Oh, really? Okay. I can't remember the guy's name.
Ben and Dale Kinkle.
Yeah. A little heavy setting a lot.
Oh, that's scary.
With a 9-year-old kid.
Somebody else.
Little munchkin. Yeah, and he was really funny. He's one of the owners. Probably a lot of owners. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, it's pretty funny. But what made me think of that was, he's in 3rd grade, so he knows his multiplication tables, right? So, he's asking me what 5 times 1 is. So, I'm asking him what 12 times 12 is, so then he started telling me what 22 times 22 is. I'm not kidding him. This kid's scary. He also knows the difference between a Mac and, an IBM PC. And I don't mean he sort of knows the difference. He really does. Yeah, so this kid's kind of scary tonight. So I saw you guys get out your calculators to give me 56. Know what it is? 8 times 7? Yeah. I saw people getting out their calculator for that. You did, didn't you? Yeah, we just do it. We didn't even think about it. Yeah, I bet you still know that. Okay, anyway, but how often do they pay it? What does it say? Semi-annual. Oh, that was how long. That's okay. Semi-annual means what? 3.5%, right, everybody? It's 3.5% twice a year. Everybody agree? Yeah, because it says it's semi-annual. And then you guys said, what, 5 years was it? 5-year bond. So how many semi-annual periods in 5 years?
10.
Yeah. Everybody agree with that? How much cash is that going to be then? If it's $56,000 for a year, what's half of $56,000? 28. Okay, so it's $28,000 of interest every 6 months for 10 6-month periods. Everybody realize that? How much interest is that, by the way? Looks to me like it's $280,000 of interest. You guys can agree with that one? Totally. So that's the deal, isn't it? And then what's it going to pay off at the end? $8 million. That's it. And we're going to get the present value of that, aren't we? That's what the bond should be issued for. And the first thing that asks for is the issuance price of the bonds. So let's do it, okay? How do you get the present value of $8 million? Let's see, what is it? It's a future value when? 10 periods from now, is that right? Everybody agree? Okay. It is $8 million. And I want to discount that for how long? Times some factor right? Or just put it in your calculator. Some factor that is going to be 1 over, oh, what's the discount rate? Not 3.5%. What is it going to be? They say the effective rate is what? Effective yield or market rate is how much, guys? 8%, but that'd be for a year, wouldn't it? So what is it for 6 months? 4%. Okay, so interest rate I'm going to use is 4%. You guys good? Interest rate 4%, number of periods 10. Double the periods because it's semi-annual, and cut the interest rate in half because it's semi-annual. Okay? All right, good. So it's 1 over 1.04 raised to the 10th, 5 years from now. Right? 10 semi-annual periods. Everybody's on board with this. Okay? So what this will be is the present value of the sum, huh? Okay? What is that factor anyway? What's 1 over 1.04 raised to the 10th? If you look at the present value of the sum table. 4%, 10 periods. What do you get? Is that the right number, everybody? Look right?
Yeah.
So take 0.6756 times 8 million, and that's what that's worth right now. Because you're going to earn the difference in interest, right? Okay? You're going to earn the 33 cents of interest. Invest 67 cents. Okay? Or pay it. Either way you want to, depending on which side you're on. Okay, what's 8 million times 0.6756?
404,513.
Is that about what you guys got? You use your calculator, you get a slightly different number, right? Okay? More accurate, actually. Okay, then what? There's interest, right? So what's that? That's an annuity payment, and this is an ordinary annuity payment, isn't it? Because it's coming at the end of the periods, right? Ordinarily, payments are changed to the period, I guess, is how to do that. How much is the interest payment? 280,000, isn't it, guys? Whoops. 28,000, 280 total. 28,000 each time, right? Every 6 months. Is that the right number? I put the decimal in the right place, didn't I? 8 million times 7%. Did I put it in the right place? The decimal place. 8 million times 0.035. 28,000. It's not 280,000, is it? It's not 2,800, is it? Be careful. 28. Is that right? Okay. 8 million.
Yeah, 1% must be 80,000. It's 280,000.
Oh!
That's
Well, that would have been wrong, wouldn't it, guys? Nobody said a word. You guys doing? I did that one on purpose. You guys just gonna let it go, huh? Really? Can you put in a calculator? All you have to do is put in 8.0, right, times 3.5, right? And you know how many what? Look it over 3 places. What do you get then? You guys do know how to calculate 3.5% times 8 million. It worked, didn't it? Yeah, got 280,000. Wow. That'd be a horrendous mistake to make. This bond isn't very valuable, is it? So I think 280,000. So then if it's 10 years, how much is that? Whoops. Yeah, total interest, what is it? $2,800,000. It's $8 million, you guys, for 5 years. Just think about that. How much interest is it going to be? 7%? Right? How much interest is it going to be? $8 million you charge an interest on, okay? All right, so 2.8. So let's do the 280,000. I like that a lot better. Okay, so then what? I want a present value factor for what? This is, both of these are n equals 10, I equals 4%, right, guys? Half of the 80. Both of them, okay? So now what I want is a present value of an annuity factor, don't I? Which is really what? 10 factors added together? 10 present values of the sum added together? So what's the present value of an ordinary annuity? 10 periods, 4%. What was that factor? That's what $10 is worth, right? Dollar received at the end of 6 months, into the year, into 18 months, into 24 months, into, keep going. Okay, so what's that factor, everybody?
8.1109.
109. What's worth $8.11? $10 is, right? You receive $1 a period at the end of each period. Okay, guys? This all sound familiar to you guys? I know you worked on this, didn't you? And now it's fuzzy. That's easy, right? This is why we do repetition. So here's the deal. You got it for the quiz, get it back for the test, and then get it back again for the final, and it'll probably stick pretty good, right? Probably stick pretty good. You'll have an idea of what you're doing later. You can look at it real quick and know what you're doing, right? Nobody remembers everything. There's nobody in the world. You don't have to. But you know what you're doing, you know what to go look up, how to figure it out, okay? How to tell if an answer is ridiculous or not. That's scary, isn't it? Okay? That'd make a horrendous mistake. So what's 280 times 8.1109? That come up? Something less than 2,000,008, I bet, because we're taking interest out of there. How much is it?
2,271,052.
452?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's worth that? 2,000,008. I'm going to get 2,000,008 in interest, and that's what it's worth right now. Everybody agree? Just like the 5,000,004 is what the 8,000,000 I'm going to get at the end is worth. Okay? So what's the whole bond worth? Seeing as I'm going to get the principal and the interest if I invest in it, or I'm going to pay it if I borrow it. How much is this?
7,675,565.
Yeah. And if you do it with a calculator, it's 7,675,852. Right in there somewhere. Sound right? Okay. Everybody good? That is what we are going to invest in the bond. If we invest in it, that's what we're going to issue the bond for, right? We issue it. Everybody got it? And that would have given you 4 points there at the beginning, very first one. Okay? And then we just take that, right, and record it. Let's do journal entries. So the first thing it says, prepare the entry for the issuance, but let's do both. On this quiz, it only asks for the issuance, but let's do both sides. Yes, ma'am?
So the annuity is 280,000 instead of the 2,000,008.
Yeah, 2,000,008 is the total interest. But the way you get the 2,000,008 is 280,000 10 times, right? So you don't want to value the 2,000,008 10 times. Wow, right? That'd be 28 million, right?
But could you also do it where you did the 8 million times 3.5?
No, it's 4%. Oh, yes, to get the amount of interest? Yes.
Yeah.
8 million times 0.035, right? It's 3.5%.
Then you would not have to times it by 10.
Oh, no, that'll give you the 280. You don't have to times it by 10 at all. All I wanted you to know is that when you get that value here, we're not really valuing $280,000, right? 280,000 is not worth 2.3 million.
Oh.
2,800,000 is worth that much. That's all I want you to get. You don't have to calculate that at all. Right? That's supposed to make it clearer. I probably made it more confusing. All right. So let's do it. Let's do it on the investor's books, okay? And what did I ask for here? I think it was the issuer, wasn't it? Yeah, the issuance. So what I asked for in C was issuance. But we'll do both sides, okay? Okay. What would the investor do? I bet they pay off the cash because they buy the bond, right? Credit, cash, 7,675,565. What do they get? Investment in what, everybody? Held to maturity bonds. Excellent. Okay. And by convention, we don't show a separate discount, do we? Or premium. By the way, is this one a discount or a premium? That's a debit. The other's credit. Is this a discount or a premium? It's a discount. How do I know? Well, it's less than 8 million, right? Why would it be a discount? What does it pay? 7%. What's effective? 8. Who wants this? Nobody, right? Get it discounted down until it pays what? 8. 8. What if the state rate's 7, but the effective rate's 6? Everybody wants it. They'll bid the price up until it pays 6. You'll have a premium, right, guys? Relax. It's no big deal. I bet on the final, either the final or the test, you'll get a premium, and on the other one, I bet you get a discount. What do you bet? Who cares? Unless I screw up and I give you the same thing twice. But it won't make any difference to you, right? You don't care. True. You don't care about anything, do you? Just be successful. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I don't care how we get there. I really don't. Okay, anyway. So, issuer, what do? I bet they get the cash. How much? Well, the same thing. I hope I asked for both of these. Now I do one, you got the other one, more points. Okay, then what? Bonds payable, and by convention, we showed it what? Full face amount, remember that? And then what do we have? What's the difference? Looks like 3, 2, 4, 4, 3, 5, is that what that is? What do we want to call this thing? It's the discount, right? What kind of account is that? Contra liability, right? What's the real liability? 8 million less 324, 435. Did I do the math right? Everybody good? Okay, then once that amortization table, the amortization table is no big deal. What is that? It's what you need in order to do the journal entries, isn't it? And then you can just copy the information right off of the amortization table. True? Okay? So let's do a little amortization table, that's fine. And then we'll do more journal entries, huh? Okay. The table's kind of handy. You don't have to do the table. Right, guys? Only do the table, as I asked you probably, but you have to do the calculations no matter what. Okay, so the table is what? There's the first payment, right? I wanted 2 payments. Okay, let's do 3 instead. Okay, make sure you've got it. So we're going to do an amortization table for the first 3 payments. Okay, and so what we'll do is we'll do a beginning balance. Okay, and then we'll do the interest expense. What's the interest expense going to be at? 3.5% or 4%, gang? What'd you discount at? 4%. No, we got the interest with 3.5, right? The cash amount of the interest. So we discounted at 4. What do you want to unravel the deal at then? 4. Use the same rate for both. Don't screw that up. Okay, that's a real common. Okay, so we got the beginning balance, we got interest expense, and then they say coupon payment, which is what? Cash disbursement, right? It's just a payment. Big deal, calls it coupon. Okay, coupon payment, and then what's left? The amortization that we're going to have, and then if you adjust the beginning balance by the amortization, right? That's where we're at, huh? Okay, because it's amortizing that discount. Okay, that's where we're at for the next period. So where do we start? How much was borrowed, you guys? Don't think about it too much. How much was? The amount of cash you got. Yeah. So it's 7,675, 565. Well, this is nothing. Take 4% times that, and that's the interest for the period, right? How much is that?
7,022,
307 and 023 maybe.
022, oh yeah.
Good enough. All right. That's going to be debit interest expense, right, guys? Or credit interest revenue, depending on which side you're on. Everybody agree with that? What's the payment? We know what it is. What are we paying? $280,000. Look what's happening. The difference between the 280 and the 307,023 is amortizing the discount. Right, guys? So we're doing. How much is that? Now here's the deal. Now you can move past. On the quiz, you kind of learned it, memorized it, did it, had all these things going around in your head. Now you can really understand it, right? You take it to the next level, and you won't forget. You can't, because you know what you're doing, right? So you won't have to remember how to do this for the test, for the final. It just makes sense, guys. Let it just make sense to you now that you know. Now that you have it down a bit, let it get to the point where it just makes sense, and by the time of the final, just be what a joke. No problem with this. Okay, all right. So what would the journal entry be anyway? Debit interest expense, right? Credit cash, and debit what? Oops, wrong. Debit interest expense, credit cash, and then I need another credit. Credit what? The discount on bonds payable. Right, guys? What if it's an investment held in maturity bonds? Credit interest revenue, right, guys? So it's either expense or revenue, depending on what? Whether I borrowed money or invested money, right? Okay? So it'd be credit interest revenue, debit cash, and debit what? Investment in held to maturity bonds, because that's where the discount is. Boom, you got it. Good man. Right? Okay, so the journal entry is going to be easy. Let's do the second one. What happens to the carrying value of this thing, you guys? Think about what's going on with the carrying value if we do make those journal entries, right? Okay, what do I start with in bonds payable? 8 million, everybody agree with that? And what do I start with in discount on bonds payable? 324, 435, right? And if I'm on the other side, what do I start with in investment in held to maturity bonds? The difference between those two, right? Same thing, of course. That's the 7, 6, 7, 5, 5, 65. And if you're doing an amortization table, you don't have to do that, right? I just want to show it to you. If you're not doing an amortization table, do it that way with key accounts. Gives you exactly the same thing. What did we do then? We took the 7, 6, 7, 5, 565 times 4%, we got the $307,023 of interest, didn't we? Now what happens when you make the journal entry? Almost it's easier to do the journal entries before you do the amortization table, isn't it? What would the journal entries be? Go ahead and write them down. What would the journal entries be? Let's do them on the investor side for the interest. Investor. Do them as we go. Issue it. What happens with the interest? I think the investor gets it, don't you? Debit cash, 280. And then what? They have interest what? Revenue. Right, guys? Remember that? How much? 307,023. Everybody staying with me? And then what do we have? $27,023 of what? Amortization of the discount. Where's the discount? It's included in the investment account, right? Investment and held to maturity bonds. What's that?
Like, how do they get to 27,000?
27? Well, I'm giving them 280 in cash, right? And my interest revenue or expense is 307,023. So the discount amortization is the difference. That's where I got the 27,023. I just subtracted. Made my debits equal my credits too, right? Okay, good. All right, the issuer, what happens? They pay out the cash, right? 280,000. So this is the first payment, right? It's the first one here. Okay, that one. Okay. What do they have? Interest expense, right, guys? How much? 307,023. And then we're going to amortize how much? 27,023. But this time, where's the discount? It's in discounted bonds payable, so I'm going to take it out of there, aren't I? Everybody see it? Not bad, huh? Okay, now let's think about this. If you record a debit to the investment held to maturity bonds of 27,023, I'll now have a new balance in investment in held to maturity bonds when I start the next year. Would everybody agree with that? All you do for your amortization table is take your 7675, 565 and add the 27,023 that you amortized, huh? What is that number? What's 7675, 565 plus 27,023, right? Either way, you get the same number. What is it? And if you add those two numbers together, you get that total. How much is that, everybody? Come on.
7,702,588.
Excellent. And I bet it's the same thing here, right? Of course it is. Several people be doing these, and then if there's a mistake, call it quickly. Okay? All right. Good. Good. Got it going. What would be the deal on the discount? Let's see. I credit the discount, 27,023. Okay. What's 324, 435 less 27,023? What's that one? Excellent. See what's going on, everybody? It's not bad, is it? Okay, what's the difference between 8 million and 297,412? It's 7,702,588, of course, right? Yeah, same deal, isn't it? On opposite sides. Everybody see it? The liability less the contra liability, right? Good? Okay. So then let's do the second one. What would you do? Take that balance, 7702, 588, 7702, 588, right? That's it. Take it times what? 4%. That's what we discounted at. We're going to compound at that. So it's 4% times that. 104 maybe. Okay, you know what? That number got bigger. Why? Because we borrowed some interest. Right? They borrowed interest from us. We loaned interest in this case. It depends which side we're on. All right. What's the payment, of course? It's 280 every single time, isn't it? That's easy. Okay. And what's the amortization then? How about 328, 104 less 280? You guys agree with that? It's true, isn't it? What's that going to be?
28.4.
Then what are you going to do? Exactly the same journal entry, huh? Let's do the second one here then. Exactly the same entry, isn't it? What do? Debit what? Cash, 280. What else are you going to debit? Investment in held to maturity, huh? Held to maturity bonds. How much? This time. How about 28,104? Right, guys? Yeah. 28,104. Right? That's 280 there, not 28. Okay? 280 and 28,104. And what do we credit interest revenue for this time? The two added together, which is what? 308,104. Right? Good. What would you do on the issuer side? What do you bet they have interest expense? How much? It's the same as the interest revenue. On the investor side, 308,104, isn't it? Okay? How much cash? Still 280, of course. And what else do we have? How much? What's the amortization? 28,104. Okay, you guys do the last one. Do the third one. We've done the second. Do the third one. Okay? Figure the amortization table up there, and then do the journal. I bet you can do it. If not, I'll make fun of it. Okay, what do you need to do first? Get the new balance, right? Post your journal entry we just did into the T accounts, or just put it on the amortization table. Do you see why we use amortization tables instead of T accounts? Put that in Excel, run it down. You can show all the years all at once, couldn't you, in one little Excel spreadsheet. Really easy. The formula in one time, distill down. Okay? Good stuff. I wish we had a lot more time together. I could show you all kinds of things, guys. But if you're an accounting major, we will. Right? So as much as you possibly can before you get out of this place. Whatever field you go into, you're supposed to have. Hack your brains. Have you guys noticed all the signs for our Louisville Council person that we're going to elect? This is just for the primaries. Although usually with Louisville, especially this district, right, it's just the highlights up here. The Democrats could win anyway, probably. Greater Louisville, usually a Democrat. Kentucky, usually Republicans, right? Louisville doesn't dominate the state. But anyway, so most of them, I think, are Democrats, but my wife started checking out some of them because we live in this district. There's some good people running. But we had a guy, Tom Olin, who was the representative for this, or the councilman from this area, this district, for a long, long time. So funny guy. Crank those numbers. It's nice to see some political awareness. People caring. excess of 200. Whatever that is. 15 or something, 14, yeah, probably on the 5. Knowing how to do this, right? But there's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot of learning goes on to get to the point where you can do this. And you know how bonds work. Yeah. You know how they're valued. That's really cool too. When you look at that value that it's selling for, you don't have to just take that. You can decide what you think it's worth, right? We'll do that with stocks too later. Not in this class, obviously. Okay, what kind of journal entry did you get? What'd you have for your balance? You posted the 28,104 in here, right? And what'd that give you? What's 297,412 less 28,104? And then down here, we're going to add the 28. You obviously don't have to do both of them, but just to make sure you know what you're doing. Right? So what's 297,412 less 28,104? Can somebody do that? You guys help me out.
269,308.
269,
308.
308, excellent. And then subtract that from 8 million, and what do you get? $730, 692. Yeah. So obviously, if you add these two together, you get that number, right? If you take this one less that one, you get the same number. So what's our new beginning balance? 7702588 plus 28104. We just did it, didn't we? Everybody see what you did?
Yeah.
I guess if you did it, you see what you did. Okay. Silly question. Okay, and then what? 4% of that this time, right? Okay. So what's that going to be? 309,228. So if you want to, right? I guess you do want to because we need the numbers. Take 280 away from that. And what do you get? 228. Then if you want, you could take 730,792, right? And add that, and you keep going. After you do it 10 times, what's the balance going to be in the bond payable and in the investment held to maturity bonds? What's going to be left? 8 million. Yeah, you'll have amortized it all, right? Got it? That's it. Okay. My total interest expense is not 2,800,000, is it? It's 2,800,000 plus 324,435. I'm going to pay all that, aren't I? Because I'm paying back the 8 million at the end, even though I only borrowed 7,700,000. Got it? So I paid the 2,000,008 plus that. I paid it at the end. That's all. And I'm recognizing the interest expense. Recognize means put it on our statement, right? Throughout the 10 periods. Same with the interest revenue on the other side. Okay? Good. So your journal entry would be what? Debit cash, 280, right? How much you want to debit investment held to maturity bonds to amortize? What was it? 29,228. Is that what you did? Good. And credit what? Interest revenue. If I loaned them money, of course. 309,228. Okay. What do you do on the other side? I guess they pay out the cash every time, right? Debit what? Interest expense, of course. How about 309,228? And then credit what? Get rid of the discount. And of course, the discount on the bond payable after we do this 10 times will be 0, and we'll have 8 million in the bond, right? So the net carrying amount is still 8 million in it. Okay. So, everybody good? Okay. One more thing, and let's hope I get to this. So that's doing interest over and over and over, right? The last part on it, no, it wasn't the last part, it was E, okay? So on E, what would you do there for both of them? The bond is fully, right, the discount is fully amortized. The bond is run its course. What happens at the end of the term? They pay you, right? These guys get the cash, how much? 8 million? What don't they have anymore? Yeah, sure. Let's hope I do this for you, right? How much? 8 million, of course. And you're done, aren't you? The whole deal's unraveled, right? Everybody got paid the money they earned, right? Or interest expense they incurred. On the other side, I bet they pay out the 8 million. What do you bet? And? Bonds paid. is all about math, right? I guess we're writing numbers down. And we did some multiplication there, right? Some subtraction stuff. Yeah, good. Right? Tough math. Right? I guess we could do something else. Something easy. Yeah, we can get number 2 done. These don't take any time at all, do they? You want to just go ahead and do 2, and you want to do something else?
Yeah, sure.
Happy Corporation has the following capital stock outstanding. Common stock, par 2, 100,000 shares, 4% preferred stock, par 100,000 shares, cumulative. Cumulative, 2 years in arrears excluding the current year. Cash dividend 90,000 is declared and paid near the end of the year. What would preferred shareholders get? Okay, it's cumulative with 2 years in arrears including the current year. So what do you have to know? What do the preferred shareholders get, right? And what do the common shareholders get? And then that's the total. This is not going to be that at all, is it? Okay, what do you do? How much is it going to be the total dividend? 90,000? Everybody agree on that? So all I got to do is figure out how much each one of them gets. And then if it asks for first share, we divide the shares. So that's not a big deal. Okay, so who gets theirs first? Preferred to preferred. What do they get? Let's see. It says that it is $2 per share on 100,000 shares. Outstanding. So what's that going to be? $200,000 per year. So how many years? Oh, it's excluding the current year. Right? Okay, 2 years excluding the current year, so it's 3 years, right? 3 times what? Got 200,000 here. But that's not 200,000 per year. You can let me get away with that, you guys? Oh, it's 200,000. It's the par. And then they pay a dividend of what? What's the dividend going to be? Well, 90 is the total. What do the preferred shareholders get? Every year, oh, they get 4%. It's 4% of the par, right? So 200,000 times 4% is what? What does that equal? Well, that's a common stock.
They're getting it from their par.
Their par.
There's 1,000 shares.
Not 1,000. Par, 1,000. What's the total par of the preferred stock? 100,000. So that's their par. So if they got 100,000 par, 4%. 4,000 per year. Everybody agree to that? And there's 3 years. How much is that? 12,000. And then what's left of the common shareholders? Everything else. So it's easy. If you give the preferred shareholders theirs first, right? So these guys go first, these guys go second. That's how you find distributing. Okay? So that's all you got to do. Another way you can go is what? Take your $100 par times 4%. What do you get per share? $4. 1,000 shares. How much is that? 4,000. 3 years is 4,000. What do you got? 12. Okay, and then it's part 2 what happens. Same thing, but it's not cumulative. So what are you going to get this time? Preferred shareholders will get what? 4,000. But there's first, right? Then what? That's good. How much would they get? By just per share divided. Okay. Current year. If it says including the current year, obviously we don't know. Everybody got it? That's wicked. See you guys. Nice meeting you. I don't do handwriting analysis or anything.
And then I look at like my answers, and I'm like, I think it's